So, for the first question, in Everybody, it was adjusted to modern time by using a more normal language and grammar and normal cultural references. So, what I mean by that is rather than talking like in a lot of metaphors and similes, more so using plain talk and commonly understood phrases for this day. There was a lot of cultural references, so talking about things like cell phones, and at the beginning, do not disturb is something that wouldn't be used in a medieval times play. This play also uses a much simpler set design and costume design than medieval plays would, which also helps to make the play more modern and really help focus on the conversations and the characters rather than the set design. For question two, since the actors never know who they're gonna play on a given night, this contributes to the dramatic world by adding a lot of uncertainty into the mix, which helps reflect on the themes of unpredictability of life and death. It mirrors life because the actors don't know what challenges they're going to face that night and they have to be prepared for anything. Early in the play, it mentions that there's over 120 different combinations, so this just adds a layer of excitement to each performance, and it would be a play that you could see multiple times with entirely different casts, and it would have the play come across differently depending on how a certain actor decides to deliver their lines and give their performance. Something that I noticed that I wanted to do a little bit more research on was the audience interaction. There was one part that stood out to me where it says that they pick out a random young girl from the crowd and supposedly have her leave the theater and then come back, and then she is used as the time character later. I think this really adds to the unexpectability of the play, because what if you pick someone who doesn't want to get back up on stage? And the interactive nature just helps to further like reflect those themes, but it also makes the play more susceptible to issues. So I wanted to gain a better understanding of the significance and kind of logistics of audience participation. And I read about how it's a way for plays to kind of break down that fourth wall and create a sense of involvement between the performers and viewers, and I think that this play really did that well. I think that this also again reflects the themes of life and death, and I discovered that the audience participation was not used in the medieval play Everyman, but the characters and the play itself just kind of encourages viewers to reflect on their own lives, so it is still interactive in that sense. I feel like Everybody says a lot about identity, especially because it has you reflect so much on your life by rather than using specific characters, they're using emotions or aspects of people's lives. And it really makes you evaluate what is truly valuable in the face of death. This play kind of communicates that everyone has the same amount of power when facing death. Those things like that don't really matter. Politics don't really matter when it comes down to it. And it's the things like love and evil that really are there with you at the end, because they're the only lasting things and the only thing that go into the grave with everybody at the end. So for my two questions, the first question I had is, how challenging do you think that a rotating cast would be, and what do you think it would be like to be an actor on a set like this? And then my second question is, how did you feel about the actors playing things like senses, emotions, and generalized people rather than specific characters? Do you like watching a play like this, or would you rather just watch a normal story be told?